We'll start. Hello and welcome everyone. This is the 56th episode of TLB Author Interview Series, and today we have a very young talent here with us, author Banapsha. So, Banapsha, please go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am Banapsha. I am 20 years old and I'm a student. I'm a BSc student for writing books that's somewhat hypocritical. I write books that are equal part chaos and equal healing. I write character driven and really dark stories when I write fiction. Other than that, I also write several non fiction and poetry collections. I have published a lot, and all of my work is centered around healing and self-awareness and growth. So I guess my brand, you could say, is helping people feel too much and then helping them make sense of all of it. My goal is to show that even the most broken people can build something really beautiful. Writing for me is, it started off as a survival manual, but then it turned out to be something more. Most of my characters do need therapy. I say that with a lot of love. And I write for people who've seen hell and who still make jokes about it. And which basically, honestly, is how I live, with a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. And yeah, that's me, equal parts darkness and equal parts hope. I'm really excited right now to talk about my work and everything else we're going to talk about. This is the short version of my interview. If you want, I can give you a longer version of the introduction because I love talking about myself. We'll be here all
Great
day.
Great to know about you, Banapsha. We'll start with the questions though. Okay, so your debut novel, that is The Sinner and the Scat, delves deep into psychopathy and extreme survival. What made you choose such a dark and complex theme for your first book instead of taking a simple or conventional route?
Well, the darkness really, it comes from reality, to be honest. I wanted to write something real because, well, if I take an example here, every single rom-com that's out there, they are very real. You know, people have real jobs. If somebody ever dies in a rom-com, they die very realistically, not like being shot like 400 times or something like that. But at the same time, people in the rom-com, the personalities of them, the core of the characters, that's not very real. They have some insecurities, and those insecurities are just, they're just gone. They're just dealt with in a few days. And when it comes to my book, I was really fascinated by broken characters and broken people because I'm surrounded by broken people. And well, I feel like darkness is where the truth lies. Light is, light means a lot more when it's earned. So that's why I wanted to write what I did, right? Because everybody has felt some sort of a dark emotion in their life at some point. So
Yeah.
I wanted every single person to feel seen. I wanted my first book to be as real as possible, while also being very unrealistic, considering in my book there is a 15-year-old child who's been killing for her whole life.
Yeah, that's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Okay. As you said, darkness, like every person out there has some dark phase in their life, and it is important to show that thing to feel connected to the reader. So it is very necessary. Yeah. So you have included intense trigger elements such as violence, grief, and psychological trauma in your story. These themes require a lot of sensitivity and responsibility while writing. So, how did you approach portraying them in a way that felt respectful and real, and which doesn't make the reader very overwhelmed?
When I started writing, I wrote from empathy and understanding, not just for a shock value. Because if I just put it out there for a shock value, people will read it, they will get shocked, and then they'll close the book and forget about it. I didn't want that to happen. You know, that being said, I researched every single trauma response that I wrote. I have been through a lot, so I didn't have to do a lot of research. But at the same time, I did extensive research, a lot of research I did. And every single dark scene I wrote, whether it's an emotionally dark scene or a very violent scene, it has a purpose behind it. These scenes are not in the book just for the sake of it, they have a reason behind it. For example, I'll give you an example here. I won't give any spoilers, but in my book, in the very beginning, there's a death scene, and Amara, the main character, she feels a lot of emotions in that particular scene. Right? She feels grief. She feels scared. She's also shocked at some point. Now, I didn't really force the readers to feel one particular thing, like, okay, this is what you have to feel. I gave them a bucket of emotions and they can pick whatever they want. So I gave them independence as well. I wanted the reader to feel whatever traumatic or triggering elements I was putting in my book. I didn't want them to be traumatized by it, which is why writing from empathy has been something that was really important for me.
So, you put out choices for options
Yeah,
for the readers to choose.
yeah. My goal was not to force them to feel something.
Yeah. It is only good when readers know what they are feeling. They
Yeah.
have the choice to feel. I like that. Your book ends on a cliffhanger. So, as a reader myself, I do not like cliffhangers a lot. It is one of the craziest part of being a reader because they drive you insane. So, crafting a cliffhanger that excites instead of frustrating, that is a tricky balance to create. So, how did you make sure the ending leaves readers eager for the next book without losing the interest? And also, since there is end and at the end there is a cliffhanger, does that mean we can accept a sequel or entire new series to follow?
Oh yeah, there are definitely a lot of sequels. The first book, it's a part of a six-book series. This is the first book. There are five more left.
Oh my
So
god.
that's
Okay.
that. And speaking about the cliffhanger, I did a really bad job initially with the cliffhanger. And it was so bad that my developmental editor, she stopped talking to me. She didn't talk to me for an entire week because I started a particular arc and I finished it without finishing the arc. I just ended the book midway, and
Oh,
that was really bad. I mean, imagine someone reading a really thick book and then not getting what they want out of it. I'll show you the book. Just look at that. That's how thick is it is. That's how
yeah.
thick it is. Now imagine reading the entire book and not getting anything out of it.
Out of it. Yeah.
So I started an arc. Without finishing the arc, I ended the book. And then my editor, she was like, "What are you doing? That's not how you're supposed to do it. People will kill you. I will kill you." And well, I had to save my life somehow. So the next thing I did was I started reading a lot of books with cliffhangers that people really liked. And one common thing I found in all of these books was that all of the arcs that were started in the beginning of the book, the arcs were ended and then new arcs were started,
Yeah.
which is what I did. I started a lot of arcs, I finished all of those arcs, and then at the point of the cliffhanger, I started new arcs. And most of all, the story revolves around Frank and Namara. So a lot of emotional arcs started with them, ended with them, and then started with them again. So people know that this whole thing is going to revolve around Amara and Frank. The cliffhanger was very intentional. I wanted them to crave for more, but I also wanted to give them something that can satisfy whatever they've read. I didn't want them to read the entire book just for a waste of time. The sequel will go deeper into the psyche and the world of all of my characters, and well, it is a part. It is a different Earth that I've written about, so there will be a lot more world building. And the ending of the first book was made to hurt in a good way, and I hope I've done that.
I'm sure you did that. Okay. So I also noticed that your books are published through platforms like Barnes Noble and Puthi. Amazon is one of the most accessible and widely used channels for readers. Was there a specific reason you choose not to go with Amazon publishing or other similar self-publishing options?
Well, I did publish with Amazon for a while, but Amazon, there were a lot of things that I needed to do. Amazon was not really letting me be creatively independent, to be honest. And I
Yeah,
wanted my work, I wanted complete creative control with my work. And saying that, I had to learn a lot in that whole
Mhm.
process. Keeping
Mm,
creative control and doing everything the right way was not really
yeah,
something that I could do. But I didn't want anyone to filter my voice. I contacted a lot of publishers, and a lot of publishers, they wanted me to, do a lot of things that I didn't want to do. For example, the spine of my book. This is really
yeah,
important. The spine is one of the most important parts of the cover, and almost all publishers that I went to, they wanted me to remove the spine altogether. I'll give you a tiny hint or a little breadcrumb there. You see this thing, this little thing over here?
yeah,
This is this is very important. This is really important. This had to be on the spine. Without this, the cover is like nothing. The cover is nothing. The cover holds no importance without it. But then when publishers told me that I had to remove my spine altogether, that was really shocking. I just couldn't do it. I had to try a little harder to be authentic, but I did choose independence over convenience.
yeah. May I know what that was on the spine?
Well, that would be a spoiler if I tell you. But this
Oh,
something's written. Something is written here, and
oh,
it will something will happen with the 5 books. Something's gonna happen. But this is really important.
it is related to the book, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, very good. I will be curious to know what that is, and I'll be
That was the goal.
curious enough to find it out. Okay, you're still quite young compared to many established authors in the industry. And has that ever made you feel underestimated or inferior, either by others or even personally? How
Yeah.
has your journey and experience been so far as a young writer navigating publishing world?
Well, yes, I have felt like a tiny little newborn in the industry a lot of times, especially
Yeah,
when talking to authors and I'm talking about, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and people are like, no, you can't do that. This is gonna cost you this, and a lot of things. I had to learn a lot of things, a lot of hard ways, but at the same time, feeling like a newborn in TLB City was really helpful because there were a lot of people here who saved me a lot, saved my life basically a lot of times. Now, the journey was really chaotic. It was really independent, but intimidating, but it was at the same time very empowering too, because it was a constant learning curve, right? I had to learn how to write my book myself, to edit it, to format it. There was a lot of marketing questions. There were a lot of rejections. There was just a lot of things. Now, people do underestimate young authors. A lot of people that I've contacted were like, "Oh, you're too young. You should give it a little more time. You should
yeah,
write more. You should do this." Well, I've written almost 12 books. How much more do I need to do? Could you
yeah,
just stop saying I'm too young for this? But
exactly.
yeah, and the community, the TLB community, it's that this is one of the first places where I'm not underestimated. Here, whenever I ask a question, I'm answered like I'm a real author instead of, oh, you're a child, you don't really have to learn how to do it and all that stuff. I am still figuring it out. I am still learning, and I'm really proud of how far I've come, but it was a journey to say the least.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter or you if you are younger or elder. It is your experience and your skills that says that you know works for you. So it is not good to judge by the age. That is what I think.
That's basically judging a book by its cover.
Exactly. I agree. So as you have already written 12 plus books, so which says that you are pretty much experienced in this field and your age doesn't matter. So never let that get to your mind.
Thank you.
Your, your books present a striking contrast. The Sinner and the Scar explores a dark, disturbing psychological world, while Stay, that is a poetry book, I guess, offers hope and
Stays non-fiction.
it's a non-fiction. Yeah,
Yeah.
offers a hope and serves as a companion for those who are struggling. That duality is fascinating. So, are there any of these themes shaped by your own life experiences, instead or inspired by real people or relationships you have read before?
All of my books, to be honest, are a part of me. Every single book has something from my life. The Sinner and the Scarred, for example, Amara and Frank. Uh, Having a Frank is something that I've always lacked in my life. And I couldn't really find a lot of books with a Frank character in them. So I created one. Amara and
Yeah.
Frank, they have a very beautiful father daughter bond. You know, it's a fatherly, Frank is a fatherly figure to her. Even though Amara is also kind of like his daughter, but Frank is the one who is starting it out. And then there's a poetry book that I wrote, Forever You. Now this one,
Ah,
this is a part of somewhat of a series. There are three books here: Forever You, Never You, and O. And this is basically my life. This is I've written books. These are romantic poetries, and they are very related to that area of my life. Now, The Sinner and the Scarred, it explores pain. Tay, on the other hand, it explores recovery and it teaches recovery. But at the same time, both of these books are what I have been through. So I wanted to be very real with these books at the same time. And well, I will tell you something really funny. When I started therapy recently, and when I was talking to my therapist about it, she specifically told me to stop writing because you put too much of yourself into your books.
oh my God.
Well, that is my job. That is my brand. That is what I do.
Writing is a therapy though.
Yeah, that is my therapy.
Yeah. So you did stop writing.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
After she told me to stop writing, I published like three books.
Yeah.
No, I didn't
You
mix it
must
up.
you must have told her this. See, I wrote 3 books
No, I didn't tell
after
her either,
publishing.
but I
You
did.
didn't.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. If I would have told her, she would have just scolded me a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So when writing a book, we often have to research even the tiniest details on Google. So it becomes our go-to tool. What's the funniest or weirdest thing you have ever had to look up while researching for your stories?
I have looked up some pretty serious things, specifically for the Sin and the Scarred. If anyone was ever to see my search history, I would be in jail or in a psych ward. But I
Yeah.
would be somewhere. I would be put away. That's how weird things I've searched. I've searched how big of a entry wound a bullet has, how big is it when it exits you, how much time it takes for someone to bleed out completely, bleed out dry, how much how little of an amount of blood can you survive on. It's very weird things. Funniest, I would say these are the funniest two, to be honest. Because if you look at my research out of context, it's very brutal. Somebody would think I'm a serial killer. I've searched how
Without
to
a
resolve.
doubt. Without
Yeah,
a doubt. Even I would, if I don't know you are writing a book, I would definitely think you are a serial killer.
absolutely. I've searched how to dissolve bodies, how to get rid of them, how much how much time it takes for a body to decay completely. I mean, it's just very. I would get flagged. I would totally get flagged.
That's brutal, really.
I know.
I hope no one got to know your search history.
I hope so too. Because if someone out there knows, well, now I've told everyone. But if someone other than you guys know, well, I'm an author. That is my job, guys. I just want to make
Yeah.
that very clear. But if somebody knows it out of context, God saves me.
They must think either you are crazy or you are a serial killer.
Absolutely. I'll be the new Jeffrey Dahmer for them.
Yeah. Okay. Since you are still young and experimenting with both your writing and your life, I'd love to know what was the moment that truly led you to become a writer.
Well, I was in eighth grade, and
Yeah.
one of my teachers, her name is Inder Vineet ma'am, she gave us a writing prompt, which was,
Yeah.
well, on the surface of it, the writing prompt was very much for a suspicious story, right? For a suspense story. You read that prompt and you're like, oh, suspense. On the other hand, I wrote four stories. There was a romantic story I wrote a suspense story, I wrote a comedy story, and I wrote a sad story from the same prompt. And when she read it, first of all, the entire class, while I was reading it, the class clapped for me. That was like my first big moment. Like, oh my god, this is something I can do. This is so cool. And then after class, she took me out and she was like, well, you're a good writer. You could write more. And I used to write a lot of things. I used to tell her that I've written this, I've written that. And I used to show her my writing. And she was really the pushing factor. She was like, oh, you're good at this. I was like, oh, I'm really good at this. For some reason, I couldn't realize on my own that I was good at it. She had to tell me that I was good at it.
Pretty nice that you got to know early in your life that you
Yeah.
are gonna be a writer. If
That
someone told me that
that when after she told me that I was really good at it, that is the point where I started writing the cinema in this card. And then after 12th I published it. So yeah, she's the gold gem here. It's her or nothing.
yeah, if someone told me I'm gonna be a writer before 3 years, I would have laughed at their face because I used to hate reading, like literal hate. Like we became enemies to lovers. Me and reading. Yeah, me and
But
books.
somewhat. For the longest time, reading only meant reading academic books to me. Then I
Yeah,
found out there's this thing called fiction. You can read books on your own. You can read
yeah,
books of your choice. That was a mind blasting discovery.
exactly.
Yeah.
That is something. Books came into my life all of a sudden. It was not planned. It just came boom, and I was a reader.
It was a really funny story how books entered my life. People in my class, they used to roam around with books and they were like, oh, these were the popular girls. And I was like, oh, I have to be one of the popular girls. So I started reading. I used to
Yeah,
write a lot,
yeah.
but it wasn't really writing for writing. I used to write diaries. Right. I probably have a diary somewhere here. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. I used to write in this. I've
Yeah.
had this since I was like 6 or 7 years old. I don't know. I don't know why it's still here. But I used to write. I never used to read. And then these popular girls were talking about books. I was like, oh, I have to be a part of them. I became a part of them. And guess what? The first book as a child they recommended to me was?
What?
It was 50 Shades. I had
Damn.
to, I started reading the book because, oh, the popular girls are reading it. I was a child. I started reading it, and well, you cannot imagine what I went through.
I can totally get you.
I almost
Oh my
died.
god. That's funny.
It was like, oh, the popular girls have recommended it. It must be good. And well, it was 50 Shades.
Do even children read these kind of books?
Well, they
I'm
used to.
shocked.
They used to. One of the
They
girls was
should
like, oh,
be
what's your
banned.
reading level? She
Such
asked,
books should be banned
yeah,
for below 18.
exactly. She asked me what my level of reading was, and I didn't want to say that I haven't even started reading anything yet. And I was like, "Oh, I'm the highest level." And she was like, "Oh, well then you should read this book." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't know what level they were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. To me, the first book, I didn't plan to be a reader. I just saw some reel from one of the bookstagrammers that I was friends with, and I really got excited about this book, and I looked up for it, and I got curious and started reading it. That was 3 years ago, and since then I'm a die-hard reader,
So that
especially
happens.
fiction.
You just one day discover that books really
Yeah,
have that feeling in them, and you can't let go.
exactly. It's something we don't find anywhere. It's that peace we get when we read
Yeah,
books.
exactly.
A non-reader can never, know this feeling.
They will discover a book someday that's gonna call out to them, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh my god!" That's gonna be
Yeah,
an eye opener for them.
there's a line that says that you don't find books, books find you
Exactly.
when the time is right. They'll
Mhm.
find you automatically. You don't need to look for it anywhere. Okay, coming to the next question. What's the weirdest habit or ritual you have as a writer? And is there anything so unusual your writing process that even you can't fully explain it?
Well, I need to find my gun for this. I have a toy gun that I found that
Gun?
I thought, yeah, yeah, this here it is. Look at that. This is what I use to write my violent scenes. Whenever I'm writing fight scenes, I'm in my room And I'm just like, okay, yeah, where are you going? What are you doing? I enact the scene completely. I enact the scene, then I write it. I need to know exactly how everything is happening. And how do I do that? I act it out. I am the villain. I am the hero with a gun in my hand. I'm like, go! And I'm just shooting all around. And also, another ritual sort of thing I have is this little thing. This is
Yeah.
a bracelet I have. It's a really cute one. I wear it all the time. If I write without, I just can't write without it. I can't do anything without it, to be honest. But I specifically cannot write without it. It, for some reason, means something. Now, these are two, and coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee is bad for me. Coffee has caused a
Yeah.
lot of trouble for me, but I still just can't let go. I just need coffee when I'm writing. And well, Seedhe Moth and Bali and Krishna, rap songs. When I'm writing scenes that I just need to blurt out, I have
Yeah.
my headphones on and I play these desi hip hop music and I'm like, "Ah," like a crazy person. I'm just blurting everything out. I edit it later. I just blurt it out. And voice to text. That's my best friend. I use voice to
That is
text.
easier.
Yeah, I use it a lot. I'm just sitting in my room and I'm on my phone, like, oh yeah, so then she said this and she said that. And sometimes my mother would come in, who are you talking to? Well, yeah, myself.
Yeah. I totally get that. Even I do that a lot. If I have any idea in my mind, I'll just record it somewhere and I'll keep it because texts get lost.
Yeah, totally.
Mine
I
does.
just
Yeah.
I have to have it spoken out because sometimes my dialogues need to have that emotion in them. I
Yeah.
just record them instead of just writing. Oh no, what happened? It's like, oh no, I speak it out. I have to do that. I need the emotion to be in that text.
Yeah. That gun part really got me. I never expected that to be.
I have I once had a sword too, but it broke. I used to have sword fights in my room with no one
That's crazy.
because I have to know exactly how you're holding the gun, exactly where the gun is pointed before I write it,
Hmm.
which I could do with my fingers, but I have a real gun for that, not a real gun, a Diwali gun.
The Diwali gun. Yeah. That's useful though.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming to the next question, which is related to this one only. Many readers enjoy having a playlist. As so, do writers also have such kind of playlist while writing, or do you find it distracting and prefer silence?
Well, a lot of writers do have playlists.
Yeah.
I am somewhat drifted. Sometimes I do have two playlists. One, as I already told you, Desi hip hop,
Yeah.
Seedhe Moth, Krishna, Bali. There's a
Hmm.
lot of people in there. There's like just banger music. And then I
Yeah.
have a really soft playlist. When I'm writing scenes where I need to think, where I need to have details on the paper, like, oh, she was wearing pink and her dress had flowers on them. It was white flowers and it was this and that. When I need details, that's when I
Yeah.
listen to the soft music. And then sometimes I write scenes where I just need to blurt it out. I don't care about how it is. I don't care if it's accurate. I just blurt it all out so that I have it written down. I can edit it later. That's when I listen to Desi hip hop. That's where Seedhe Moth comes in. That's when Seedhe Moth saves me from my moth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's good to have a playlist. I prefer a playlist, though I sometimes prefer silence. That's
Sometimes.
50-50 for me.
Silence is like 1% of the times, but yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes you just need silence.
Yeah. So as a reader, I reread my favorite books a lot. Like a lot. I must have read my favorite book for 4 to 5 times. That's crazy, but that's me. So, do you ever go back and reread your own books after you completed or published them? Or do you prefer to leave them behind once they are finished?
I read them for a while, then I put them away. The
Yeah.
while that I do read them for, that's like me feeling everything and going, I have read The Sinner in the Sky over 30 times after it was published. And mm, I read it for a long while, then I
Yeah.
stopped reading it. Now, if I ever go back, there are specific chapters that I've marked in the book. If I read that chapter, oh, I read this chapter, I'll feel happy. I read this chapter, I'll feel sad. That's what I do. That's what I do with almost all of my books. I don't really read them a lot. I read them for a while and then I move on because I don't really like to go back again and again. I'll just be stuck in that emotion then. So I
Okay.
have to do something to move on. But I do go back to them sometimes because, well, my heart calls out to them. I just can't leave Frank and Amara alone.
Yeah, so you do reread your book
Yeah, I
sometimes.
do. Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. So I thought writers do not read their books. That's
Some
what I.
don't. Some writers just want to move on. Some writers don't want to keep going back to it. Me, I feel like I'm too emotionally connected to these characters. I was going to kill someone in my book. I literally grieved that person's death for months. For months,
Yeah,
I couldn't get out of
understand.
bed because, oh my god, he's dying.
Yeah, you feel it
Yeah,
because in writing it, you do feel it.
yeah.
Okay. So I sometimes imagine telling my family that one day that I'm writing a book and they'll be like, you can't finish your academic books, so forget about finishing a writing book. So how did your family reacted when your family and friends reacted when you told them that you're gonna write a book or you're publishing a book?
Well, they didn't know anything about the book until the book was in my hands.
Yeah.
One day I just went. I lived with my grandparents. One day I just went to their room and I was like, "Here, look at that." And then they looked at it and they were like, "Oh, this is an idea. Wait, it has your name on it. Why does it have your name on it?" I was like, "Well, I wrote it." That was a shocker to them. They didn't know I was writing a book for the entire time. Their name is in the acknowledgements, and they didn't know this book existed until it existed. My
Yeah.
friends, my friends did know. My friends
Yeah.
knew, and they were very supportive. They knew I could do it, but at the same time, they knew I was not studying my academic things at all while I was working on the book. So they were behind me like, "You have to study. You have to do something with the books. You can't just give your life to the book." I was like, "Well, watch me. I will
Yeah.
give my life to this book," and I did. And
Yeah.
I've written almost all books that I've written. Suddenly, one day, I just walk up to my grandfather. I'm like, "Oh, I wrote a book. I want to order it." He was like, "Another one? What do you mean you wrote another book?" I was like, "Well, I wrote another book."
Yeah. They were not over the first shock and you gave them the next.
Yeah, I gave them like 12 shock.
I hope they are okay now.
I hope so too.
Okay. So this is one curious question. So are you currently working on something new? Is it an experiment that might surprise or challenge your readers? Or what can we expect next from you?
Well, I don't think it would surprise the readers, but I
Yeah.
am working on book two of the Sinner series. It's called Covert Ties. This is a title reveal out there. Boo.
Oh,
Um, I'm working on that, and with that, I'm working on two non-fiction books, which are part of the maturity series. I have written a non-fiction series on how a person can get more mature in life. One of the books is about letting go of hate, and then there's one which is letting go of love. We all tend to have friendship breakups, normal breakups, and sometimes there are issues in our families, and the family breaks apart. So it's how to live with that because, well, if you ever are in love, doesn't matter what kind of love it is, but the love doesn't really go away. You just have
yeah.
to, when the person you do love goes away, you have to learn how to live with it. So I'm writing a book on that. Then the hate, the one about letting go of hate. If you just keep holding on to hate, your entire life becomes hate.
Yeah.
So there's one book that is teaching them. I have hated for a very long time. My life was so full of hate for one specific person for about 18 to 19 years. And when I realized that I really shouldn't be hating this person and I took a step back, I have never felt so free. I'm so free. I'm so full of life. I'm so energetic. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do it, I'm going to teach people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it's been
releasing that
fun work.
hate. Yeah. Yeah. Express yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to think people just talk about it like, oh, let go of hate. It's going to be bigger, better. But when I experienced it, I was like, oh, well, they're not lying.
Yeah.
I
That's
used to
right.
feel like people were lying. Like, oh, let go of hate. It's going to get better soon. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not letting go of hate. Then I did
Yeah.
let go of hate. And, well, that was amazing.
Yeah. They say it's right. Yeah. So I feel like starting a book is really easy, but deciding to continue it and being consistent and dedicated to it is really difficult. So how did you ensure that you stay consistent and dedicated to your work. Did you ever doubt yourself or struggle with consistency in writing a book?
I did doubt myself a lot, yes. When I was writing The Sinner and the Scarred, one of the main doubts I had was, well, nobody knows me. Even if I publish the best book out there, people will not know about it. And even if they do know about it, why would they buy it? Why would they buy something written by just a child? But
Yeah,
after a
exactly.
point, consistency, I'd say I built. See, when people drift off of consistency, that's usually because they get stuck. I figured out a way how to not get stuck. I used to get a lot of writer's blocks. But then I realized my writer's blocks were usually when I didn't know what to do with the story.
Hmm.
So now my writing process is outlining it extensively. I outline my book for 2 to 3 months before I start writing it. And then when I start writing it, there is no point where I get stuck. Every single point where I could have been stuck at some point, I don't anymore because I've already outlined it. I know exactly what's gonna happen. The entire book is like 3 to 4 pages in that outline. The entire book is in my hands before I start writing it. So that really helped my writer's blocks. And when the writer's blocks were gone, the consistency just followed.
Yeah, that's a very good thing to do, actually.
Yeah.
Outlining before you actually start writing. That solves half of your problems.
Yeah. I outline, when I outline, I think until I can't think anymore. That's my rule for outlining. Just pour so much out that you have nothing left to pour. Once you do that, you won't ever get stuck in your books.
That's a very smart move.
Yeah, thank you.
I would definitely apply it in future.
I will send you some outlining templates that I use whenever you decide
Thank
to
you
write.
so much for that. I really need these kind of things in my life
I
because
will give you.
I'm stuck in my story for a longest time.
Yeah,
I can't
that
just
happens
move
so
ahead.
much. This book Saira that I started writing, I wrote this book in ninth grade, and I
Yeah.
wrote it, and midway I stopped, and I just didn't know what to do. Then I got into an accident in May. After that, I was stuck in home. I have a brain hemorrhage, so I was stuck in home. Now, when I was stuck in home, I didn't have anything to do. I wasn't allowed to watch any electronics for a long time. I couldn't use my headphones. It was like, oh well, I have written a book. So I started thinking about it and I started outlining it. And I outlined it for about 2 to 3 months and I outlined it so much I didn't have anything else to put in. And when I started writing it again, it was like I finished it in a week.
Yeah.
A book that was stuck since ninth grade, I finished it in a week just because I outlined so much.
It's the
Editing does
simplest
take time.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the simplest thing that does for us. Yeah,
yeah.
great. So you have written many books and created so much impactful work. So which one is closest to your heart and what makes it so special to you?
I would say Stay is very close to my heart because, well, it did save my life, quite literally. I'll say that. The Sinner and the Scarred is the foundation. It's my first book, so it has a very unbiased opinion towards it. I cannot say, oh, I cannot put anything over it, but Stay comes a very close second. Stay is about suicide prevention, and it's non-fiction. It tells people how you could do that, how to live. It gives them reasons to live. Stay is like a best friend. Stay is not like a book. When you read Stay, it's not like, oh, you have to do this, you have to. It's not more of those pointers. Stay talks to you like a best friend. And when I was writing Stay, I was talking to myself like that best friend. So in writing Stay, I saved my own life. And if I could do that to myself, I feel like I should be able to do it to others too. And if I do it to anyone out there, I would be the happiest person in the world if Stay could save anyone's life because it did save mine.
If you feel it first, if you feel it, then others will definitely feel it.
I hope so.
So, yeah, okay. So I believe you have been with TLB for a quite long time and you have participated in many community activities. So how has your experience been with TLB and what changes or growth you have observed since the beginning?
Well, I have grown up with TLB, if I should say that. I had just turned 18 when I joined TLB, and now I'm going to turn 21 soon. It's a scary age. But TLB has been very supportive and encouraging. There are a lot of people in TLB that are like, uh, they've saved me some trouble. I'll give you an example. There was a publishing house that was asking for a huge sum of money to get
Yeah.
my books in physical bookstores, and well, I had been saving for a while. I had been saving for about a year and a half, and I had that much money. After giving that money, I would have had zero in my bank account, but I had that much money, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do it. At least my book will be in physical bookstores. And before I did it, I just posted a question in one of the TLB groups, and well, I found out these people were scammers. They take your money and then they don't do anything. I was like, oh, I saved myself a lot of trouble. I
Yeah.
have I've seen a lot of growth in my confidence and my community building, I'd say. And also, there are so many readers that come up to me, oh, I saw you on the TLB author group or the book of the week group or the author of the week group, and I read your book and your book is amazing. And well, it makes my heart so warm. I love it. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here and all of the people behind TLB. It's really nice. It's really helpful. It has saved my life a lot of times. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah. Hello.
Yep, I'm here.
Ah, I lost you for a second. Okay. Okay. So that was all from my side, Banapsha. It ends here, but we'll definitely see you next time. It was really my pleasure to talk with you and share your views with our readers. So, would you like to share a few words before we conclude the session?
Well, I would like to tell everyone that healing isn't just light. That's something that I'm fighting for now at this point. I have a foundation called Lilith by Bash. It is a mental health foundation, and now I'm in the war zone now. I'm fighting for it. Healing isn't light. There is a lot of darkness behind it. You have to face the darkness in order to heal, in order to go towards the light. My books, some of my books are really heavy, but they always end with hope. They will always give you something really good at the end of
Yeah,
it. If my words make anyone feel understood, that's everything I want. That's all I want. I'm really thankful to all the readers who feel, who stay. I write i write so no one really has to go through the dark alone. I want to make it very clear, darkness is not the end, darkness is the beginning. You have to get into the darkness in order to go to the light. So yeah, I'm a firm believer, and I'm gonna fight for it till I die at this point. I will do whatever I can to help everyone out there.
that's very great to know. Since you are just 20 and you have such a great thinking about darkness and healing, that's really, it's like some people do know what's actual healing and they are trying to heal people out there. That's a great initiative because most of the people don't know about mental health. They
Well,
just
it took
think
me a
it
while to get here too. I mean, I wasn't born like this. I didn't know anything about healing until like a few months ago. But then I
yeah,
was just life struck me with something, and it opened my eyes, and well, I'm here now. I'm helping everyone I can.
you are healing and you are helping others to heal too. Yeah. So that was it, Vanapsha. It was really, really nice talking to you. I really enjoyed this session. And we'll have you here for another session with another of your work. And till then, stay tuned. And to all of the viewers who are watching, thank you for staying tuned. And till then, keep exploring, keep reading, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Vanapsha.